Okay, trigonometry. What trigonometry actually does is give you ratios of particular sides in a right-angled triangle. These ratios are called sine, cosine and tangent, shortened to sin, cos and tan. 3 buttons on the calculator: sin, cos and tan. I always say sine rather than sin. Okay, so for example, take this triangle. It's got a 30-degree angle there. It doesn't matter how big the triangle is, as long as it's got a 30-degree angle there. If I press sine 30 on my calculator, it gives me half. Now that gives me the ratio of these two sides, that this side will always be half of that side. The opposite will always be half of the hypotenuse. Another triangle here that's got 14 degrees. Again, doesn't matter how big it is, but the ratio of these two sides is what you get by pressing the tan button. Tan 14. It's approximately a quarter, okay? Meaning that this length will be a quarter of that length, opposite and adjacent. So our 3 trig ratios are that sine gives you the ratio between the opposite and hypotenuse, cos gives you the ratio between adjacent and hypotenuse, and tan gives us the ratio between opposite and adjacent sides. Okay, to help us remember that, we shorten it. We just take the first 3 letters. So sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. Sine is opposite divided by hypotenuse. I'll explain why I write it in triangle later. Cos gives us the ratio between adjacent and hypotenuse, CAH. And tan gives us the ratio of opposite to adjacent, TOA. And you'll start hearing this as a common word, a new word, SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA, to look at the 3 different ratios. So our first thing we'll need to do is decide whether to use the sine button, the cos button or the tan button on my calculator. So here's the first question here. So we're not actually going to do it. All we're going to concentrate on is which one we're going to do. So like you learned in the first lesson, we've got to label the sides. Hypotenuse, I'll put an H there. The opposite side, and here's the adjacent side. Well, on this particular question, I'd be asked to find that angle. The 2 sides that are of interest to me are the 2 sides that I've got something written on, that I've got values for. It's the hypotenuse and the adjacent. So where do you see H and A in SOHCAHTOA? I see an H there, an A there, an H there, and an A there. Where I've got the 2 ticks is in the middle here. Sine, cos, and tan. It's the cos ratio, the cos button that we're going to be using in that question. Okay, we're not going to do it yet, we're just going to decide. Next one. First step, labelling the sides. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Which 2 am I interested in here? It's the opposite and the adjacent. Opposite, adjacent, opposite, adjacent. It's always going to be the one where you've got 2 ticks. TOA. T stood for tan. And the third example, this one is slightly different. This time I'd be given an angle and I'd be wanting to find one of the sides. Okay, we'll label it again. Opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Now I'm interested in this side because it's useful to me, I've got it. And I'm definitely going to be interested in this one because that's the one I'm asked to find. So it's O and H. I see O there, and O there, H there, and H there. Where are my 2 ticks? This time it's in SO. It's going to be sine that we're going to use. So now I'm going to want you to do the work on deciding whether to use sine, cos or tan.